Looks like we are getting ready to head right on into action here. What it do? What it do? We had players jump right on in. They weren't wasted at no time getting down into game number one. Hopefully, everyone's having themselves a fantastic evening. I am your boy Q. Welcome on into the Edgewood Eagles team stream. Starting off with a ECAC banger here. I believe it was earlier today, yesterday, we had seen the colleague top 40 poll released, top 50 poll. Edgewood sitting at number 29 right now. We have Concord on the other side of the pitch, who I think was ranked number 4 in that poll. So it should be a banger of a series. I would love to see the Eagles be able to find themselves an early goal here. They had some early pressure, but they will have to retreat their way back down into the defensive half. And now you've got to worry about this squad of Crispy, Samus, and Helix, a trio that has quite a bit of experience, looking to try and kind of get their read early in game number one. I like seeing the fact that we've had the Eagles and a couple of possessions down here. Looking towards the net here is Pink. Pink had themselves a pretty solid weekend in CRL Open number 3, I do believe it was. Honestly, we had seen all 3 players this weekend have some pretty solid games. Looking to see how the Eagles can ride the high from this weekend. Yeah, maybe the finish not exactly what they were hoping for, but I mean, when your only 2 losses are to top 6 teams, sometimes you just got to realize it's the luck of the draw sometimes. Quick transition play for Bryant, but Crispy there with the read for the save, but unable to find the clear, which means that it's another opportunity here for Edgewood. Pink, very little gas in the tank. I was able to get themselves a touch towards the corner. It's going to be Concord here once more, looking to try and set up a little bit of offense down here on the blue half. I feel like the big thing that the Eagles are going to have to try to focus on here today is going to be that counter attack. As we see, this trio has the ability to build up pressure. A shot that just gets the slightest kiss from that top bar to bar down. We talk about the way the cookie crumbles. That's just how it goes sometimes. It's, of course, just one lone goal in the almost opening half of play in game number 1. Only 3 shots thus far in this game. So we've seen that first goal come across. I started talking about how I think this team is going to have to focus more on the counter attacks if they're going to be able to walk away with the Dubski here against Concord. And that's not for a lack of ability to keep possession down here. We've seen them be able to do that a few times in the first little over 2.5 minutes. But the defense from Concord, you just feel the chemistry almost through the screen, and their ability to always meet you with that pressure up in the air no matter where you're at on the field. It's very rare that you'll see a double commit out of this squad. Minute 45 left though in game number 1. It is still just the one lone goal for Concord. Means one shot could truly turn things around. All 3 players going to be down here on the offensive side. Timmy, one touch. Oh, not quite going to be able to find the bar. Helix sends it towards the sidewall. Bryant's got to be able to scoop this and send it towards the corner. Going to be able to do just that. But Helix already up and finds the read. Seamus also up in the air. This is that suffocating pressure that Concord likes to play with. Crispy will be able to find that savior medal. Timmy, however, going to be able to pick the pocket. Quick numbers opportunity. Pink was there, but just enough to find the save was Helix. Off the backboard here, Helix once more. Timmy, no gas in the tank. Going to have to go screaming back towards the net. Oh, unfortunately, can't pump the brakes enough. Gotta give credit where credit's due for the duo of Helix and Seamus here to be able to put that on the back bumper. Of course, it is ECAC action, so it's best of 7. You know, I say every week, chat, these longer series, game number 1 ain't so much about how you start, it's how you finish. It's definitely felt like there's been opportunities for Edgewood. Had themselves some pressure. If you could finish with a goal, that would be huge, but it seems coming in once more. Be able to find the save. Helix up in the sky, has Crispy right below him. Pink finds the save, but right in the shadows off of the rebound. That's going to be goal number 3. What you going to do, you know? You're playing against, again, a trio like this. Is a team that we've been seeing in CRL. I do believe qualified for the end of season event already or close to it. And gotta say, despite the 3-0 scoreline, you do gotta give credit to the fact that you were able to meet the same amount of shots. Unfortunately, the shot's just not rolling in your favor quite yet in game number 1, but long series. It is a best of 7. I feel like as far as in this game number 2, when you get those opportunities, you're going to have to capitalize. We saw plenty of times where once you have the ball down and you kind of set up in that half field sort of situation, the defense from Concord, that thing's like airtight. See him doing a great job of being able to control the boost out on the field as well, making it harder for the Eagles to be able to transition and flip the pitch. So let's get out to game number 2. The good news is the score from game number 1 no longer matters. It's zeros on either side of the scoreboard. We do have 5 minutes on the clock. Tried to find a little bit of mustard on that shot. Couldn't quite put it in the back of the net, but it is still pressure. Again, I like seeing the confidence to go for a play like that here early in game number 2 as well. Off of the rebound, Crispy finds a shot, but it does sail just wide. Bryant's not going to be able to find the clear, but Timmy underneath. Be able to send it towards the midfield line. Pink's already up in the sky to continue advancing the ball forward as a pass towards the midfield. Bryant's there. Unfortunately, not enough oomph on it as Helix going to be able to find the save. Pink looking for a pass over to Timmy. That shot will sail high. Helix to send it back towards the midfield line. Off of the rebound, Pink might have had an opportunity, but Crispy gets just enough of it. Puts it right up over him. And it gone by in game number 2. Still tied up at zeros. Even with all of that pressure that we did see down that last trip down the field, only 2 shots to show on the scoreboard. Feels like next time you're able to build up pressure like that, you would really like to see it reflect on the scoreboard. Helix finds a shot. That one's going to be just wide. That's another one that's nobody rises up to get a nose on. I'm not sure if they feel that confident that it's sailing wide. I wouldn't expect this Concord team to send them at that point too many more times. Of course, as I say that, once more off of the woodwork. Quickly advancing up the field, though, is Bryant. Pink's not going to be able to find it. Helix sends Timmy back to the bench in a puff of smoke off of the demolition. Now you're trying to quickly switch the field. Pass over to Bryant from Timmy. As this ball touches down, Pink steps in on an aggressive 50. A calculated risk, as you already had Bryant on the rotation back. The slightest of kisses off that top bar. And Edgewood strike first in game number 2. Can't allow for a quick response, though. Nice job by Bryant to be able to beat that thing towards the corner. Finds just the slightest touch. Timmy rises up and finds a save as well. Pink's going to have a whole whole tank of gas, I should say, to be able to flip this field. Will be a center. Another centering touch as well. Bryant looking to make a play, but can't advance too far forward. Wants to make sure they slow down the transitional attempt from the side of Concord. Pink's still going to be able to gather it. Crispy now Sends it back into Edgewood territory. That would have found the lace if it weren't for Bryant. That's going to be another big save. And at some point, you figure you give this Concord offense so many opportunities. I mean, 6 shots in the opening 3 minutes of play. At some point, they're going to find it. We're all tied up at 1. Will be Helix firing a shot. That'll sail high. Second touch. Gets shut down. Bryant has to pass at the wall. Timmy's there. However, Crispy does a great job of reading it, sitting on the backboard. And instead of trying to find a touch after the backboard touch, just acts as the touch before the backboard. But once we can see that ball go down into the Edgewood half, you see this trio. Seamus, Helix, Crispy. Just go to work. Now with 90 seconds left on the clock, do have to start moving with a sense of urgency. Hold on, that's a shot on target had Crispy not been able to get there, but again, a team that's so comfortable taking off to the sky, being able to meet that pressure early. Helix will send Bryant back to respawn. The good news is he'll be there to retrieve this one. Sends it over towards the side where, with the big boost popping up right in the right time, was trying to keep the possession. Seamus picks the pocket. Timmy's off the backboard. Potential counterattack opportunity, but Crispy doing what Concord does best and just keeps that pressure forward right around the midfield line with those very tight defensive rotations and very disciplined. It's like not even necessarily waiting for the third to be back, but once they see the third starting to move, they move forward to keep this pressure inside, not just the offensive half, but the offensive third for Concord. And now they're 30 seconds away from going up 2-0 against our Edgewood Eagles here in ECAC action. Battle of unbeatens here to start off the night. Does feel like just as much as game 1 felt close for about 3.5, 4 minutes. This one felt close through and through. Despite the fact that it'll also be a 3-1 goal after that cosmetic goal there at the end. I mean, you win by 1, you win by 2. It really doesn't change much. But now you got to find a way to regain here between games 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 2 and 3. Been a long day. The big thing, though, I think, really, when you look as far as at the stats from that last game, 11 shots on target, especially for a team that, with their 11 shots, it's not like they're lofting balls towards the net. They're coming at you at a good pace. Remember, this is a team that does, I mean, compete at the highest of levels. I mean, you got Crispy and Seamus. I guess you could technically say Helix too, because Helix is the sub on Strictly Business. Strictly Business had what, like a top 16 finish in RLCS, I do believe it was, open number 1. So this is a team that knows how to get things done, especially in these longer series. You cannot afford to go into triple series point. As we do take off to the pitch here for game number 3. There's some early control for Edgewood. Or sorry, against Edgewood, I should say. But Edgewood has been doing a good job of being able to maintain the resistance. Now looking to try and flip the field here as Edgewood. Big opportunity for them down on the offensive side. But again, the defense from this Concord squad, I mean, so disciplined. And you can tell that their communication's on point. Probably no wasted time, not cluttered with extra communications, just very strictly business. Pun slightly intended. Haven't really seen as far as for the side of Concord, them be able to build up much pressure as far as an offensive presence here in game number 3. Of course, they're not the ones that are necessarily pressured to have to develop that. They've won those first 2 games. For Edgewood, though, you would really like to be able to put yourself into the driver's seat sooner rather than later here in game number 3. They are back in the defensive half, so it starts with the clear, or preferably would have been finding a save there, as Helix is going to draw first blood once more for Concord. Nice little double tap. Timmy only had a little bit of gas in the tank, so had to try and make a split-second decision. Split-second decision, just couldn't quite get it done. Now it's Helix coming in with another aerial play, and it's back-to-back goals here for Concord. Bryant was looking to try and set up for a squishy save, and I think it was just too far in the middle there to be able to make a play towards it. I do believe that was Timmy that we saw trying to make the adjustment towards that top right corner, just couldn't. And now you do have to start moving with a little bit more sense of urgency. Can't just simply rely on this squad to make a mistake, because as we've seen thus far through 2.5 games of play, they don't make very many. Timmy doing a great job, however, being able to force the issue this time around. Good 50. And Bryant just swoops on in. Nobody there in net. Big old net, small little ball. That's Rocket League physics for you, 101. Of course, that does only cut this lead in half. They will need to make sure their defense can still hold the line. They'll still have to find the lace on that orange half one more time. I know for our viewers that were here for the CRL run over the weekend, you know that this Edgewood squad is no stranger to adversity and putting themselves under pressure, needing back-to-back dubs. But again, thinking back to that point I had mentioned earlier, you cannot need to win 4 in a row against a team like Concord. But man, oh man, what a goal you'll see here. Seamus able to pick the pockets, and just a dime of a pass to Helix. I believe that was Bryant that was up and was oh so close to it. It did sound like the squad, had reasonable expectations going into this series. I think especially with this being a double-header evening, gotta make sure you don't hang your head too low. You would like to still be able to make things competitive, make Concord sweat a little bit. I feel like you've done that successfully through the first almost three games now. But I mentioned earlier how you're going to have to focus on the counterattack. Wait for those mistakes. We're no longer at that point here, chat. You've got to find a way to force mistakes, whether it's upping the tempo or just playing a little bit more aggressive on the defensive end. Because you got to find 2 in this final minute of play. He's going to be able to look towards the corner here. It's going to be a nice headering pass. Seamus finds just enough of a touch. That's a pass over here for Timmy, and just when you thought that was going in, Crispy rises up and finds the save. Still more pressure forward here for the Eagles, however. Pink was Looking to try and find a pinch there, or at least find a touch to send it back towards the net. Instead, just a little bit wrong of an angle. Timmy, however, speaking of angles, looking for a pass. Couldn't quite get there. Bryant gets the assistant from the bar. Yes, Crispy finds a save, but Bryant dunks it right on back. And with 18 seconds left on the clock, telling me there's a chance. With 18 seconds on the clock, you don't necessarily need a kickoff win or a kickoff goal. You would like pressure off the kickoff, which they have been able to successfully do here. Can't necessarily allow for a clear, however. Seamus goes for the safe play, finds the bump. Ryan able to pick it off in the sky, unable to keep the control. That second touch sends it towards the corner. That ball's coming down. Timmy gets a touch to try and keep it up, but can't. And now with 3 wins in a row, Concord gonna have themselves series point. They're gonna get 4 cracks at it. And when you look at the stats, I mean, technically out shooting Concord, Edgewood 7-6. The difference is just that one lone goal. The games have gotten tighter as this series goes along. One point I didn't get to earlier, you know, when we talked about earlier how this team had a really successful run at CRL Open number 3. It felt like, or 3 for the fall, whatever number that falls, and I think that's like 6. I think technically. You know, in those games against Northwood, it felt like each game got closer of the 2. I thought maybe if it had been a best of 7, you could see them take a game or 2 potentially. And I think there's still a potential of being able to do that here against Concord. It's just about, can you find the smallest of things here? Because that's how slight the difference has been between these 2 teams in game number 3. Good news heading back to the pitch here for game number 4 for the Eagles, as the score of the last 3 games does not matter. We're going to put zeros on either side of the scoreboard. 5 minutes on the clock. Let's go ahead and get down and do what it do. Feel like an early quick goal would be a nice little bit of extra pep in your step, a little bit of extra swag, you might even say, heading into game number 4. I was going to say the other reason you might want to do that is because Concord has been a team that's been striking relatively quick to their own right. Unlucky 50, which leaves a wide open net for Seamus to just be able to simply tap that thing on in. We're going to be able to win the draw off the kickoff here. Nice bump to leave this ball in front of the net, and it's Pink, who is going to be able to dunk this thing on home. Timmy finds a huge bump. As much as Helix almost is able to find a way back to it, still finds a way to hit Lace. And as quick as we saw Concord take the lead in game number 4, Edgewood ties things back up. Pressure off the kickoff here, though, for Concord. Oh, that's an errant touch, goes towards the middle. Crispy almost punishes. Helix looks for the double tap. The triple, no. Bryant, no gas in the tank. Able to put the ball on the hood. Look at the flick of the wrist off of the backboard. Timmy looks for the follow-up, but can't. And my, oh my, how the pace has changed here in game number 4. A demo onto Timmy. Means the numbers advantage will go to Concord, but Bryant returns the favor. Kablamo. It's going to be Timmy over 1. Well, gets a little ahead of him, however, and Crispy's going to be able to field that. Pink finds the touch over. Hold on. Does this get to the backboard? I don't think it does. No, Helix able to scoop that thing up. Has the assistance from Seamus to be able to now try and move this ball up the field. Gotta be careful with those touches towards the middle of the field, man. This Concord team, You cannot give them an inch. They will indeed take a mile. Bryant finds a big save. 2 minutes gone by in game number 4, and we are indeed still tied up. When you consider the situation difference for these two teams, Concord really not going to be worried about being tied at the halfway mark. Matter of fact, before I can finish my thought, Crispy just turns right around, is able to sink a shot. That one hurt, man. You saw that thing bounce off the post, and I'm sure all of the players was like watching it in slow motion. You still have time here. A little over 2.5 minutes. I don't think you're going to be able to find it off of solo plays like that, especially when you're not able to find strong shots towards the net. I'm sure probably part of the thought process is the more passes there are, the more likelihood that the defense for Concord is able to do what they do so well, but I think you still have to try and find a way to move a ball. More moving pieces on a defense, more likely is there's going to be a mistake made somewhere. Pink's going to be able to find the save here. Bryant not quite able to rise up in time. Almost gets there. And it's now going to be a 2-goal lead. Off the kickoff, however, they will be able to take that lead and very successfully cut it in half. Of course, they do still have to score a goal in order to tie things up here. You'll need an additional one from there at minimum in order to advance to a game number 5. I had mentioned how the squad came in with realistic expectations. The thought was keeping things close, maybe be able to take a game or two. They most definitely have been able to keep things close. The last second goal that made it a 2-goal game in game number 2. I think game number 1 was closer than the multi-goal loss. The only one we've seen thus far in this series showed. But when you're playing up at the top level of Collegiate Rocket League, that margin for error is next to nothing. And you're seeing why here. Everyone gets involved in a very quick transition play. And with that security blanket, now all of a sudden it's not just one shot to potentially send things to overtime. You're going to need 2 goals. It feels like you're going to need that first goal sooner than later. I don't think you can rely on a last-second heroic kickoff. And now with Seamus adding another, that could very well be curtains on series number 1. Of course, keeping in mind that this is an evening where there's a double header. Still want to make sure that you keep the hands warm and loose. I do believe our second game is slotted to kick off quarter till, so shouldn't be too much downtime to manage and get through. You've got a couple of minutes to be able to take away the couple of points you might have after this loss. But I don't think you hang your head on it too much. Again, this is a trio that under the banner of strictly business did make a main event and open number 1 for RLCS. We're seeing the GGs already starting in chat or in the game chat here. Bryant looking to try and add one more. Not quite going to be able to take it coast to coast. But again, in the two games that weren't a one goal game in the series, I do believe we're closer contested than what the score differential might show. And this is a team that is very, very highly rated. It's a team that has quite a bit of chemistry, quite a bit of experience when it comes to Rocket League at the highest of levels. And with another matchup here in just a couple of minutes, I don't think there's anything to hang your head on. So we will be heading over towards the break. And when we get back, we've got WCRL action is going to be against University Wisconsin Milwaukee, their black squad here. So don't go too far. We'll be back with our second matchup here in a bit. All right, we're getting ready to jump right. I promised you guys that we are going to have ourselves a super quick break, and look at that. Just like that, over into our Wisconsin CRL action tonight. Again, UW Wisconsin, Milwaukee, or sorry, UW Milwaukee Black. I guess UW Wisconsin would be kind of redundant, but best of five action here as opposed to that best of seven in our first series on the evening, meaning the game number one holds just a little bit more weight. Doubly so, I would almost say, after suffering a sweep to Concord. I know I said to not hold the head, not hang the head after that first series, and I do still very much agree on that point. She would like to get that monkey off the back here in series number two, get that first dub on the board, especially because it is only best of five action. I ain't gonna be able to scoop this thing up off the save. Was looking for a clear, but couldn't quite find it. Right, she's gonna be able to find Pink on the sidewall. Pink's gonna be able to take up over Q. Pass Joe, finds the double touchdown, but not able to put that on a hood of a teammate. Kablamo says Timmy onto Q. Bryant finds the save. Pink gets a second touch to make sure that JDE not going to be able to find an easy touch moving towards the net. It's a pass over towards the middle. Timmy was there, but ball sails just a little over his head after a touch from the defense. Are seeing more aggression coming out here from the Eagles in series number two. Not sure if part of that is because of the frustration from series number one, or just knowing that they got to set the tone here in game number one of series two. Timmy launched a shot forward. It's not a shot. It's a pass to Bryant, who's going to be able to slam things home, and just like that, right over Bladat. The Eagles are going to be up 1-0. How quickly can they double things down? Build up that confidence for the number one seed in Wisconsin CRL right now. Trying to defend the crown here. I think Q was keeping the receipts of some of those demos from earlier. Returns one to Bryant. Field has been reset though. Both Pink and Bryant got full tanks of gas. Timmy not quite able to get to that one. Luckily though, Bryant's able to rise up, finds the save. Foot race with Timmy and JDE. Ball's gonna advance over towards this Eagles side. Timmy's gonna be able to keep the pressure alive for the Eagles. The shot towards the net, not quite on the target. Now it's JDE. That's a touch towards the net. Bryant's not gonna be able to get there in time. With a little less than 2 minutes left to go in game number one, we're all tied up. Now it's about how do you respond. For the Eagles, Timmy launched the shot forward. You will be able to find a save on that one. Bryant prevents the clear. Pink looks to try and enter back into the attack, but with that, has other things in mind. $80 seconds left to go here in game number one. Tied at 1. With that, while you might have been able to find a demo, you might have overextended. You left Q in an awkward position, but a save does come across. Bryant has a full tank of gas. Does lose the handle on it. Pink moving the ball forward. Bump onto one. Timmy. It's a pass up to the sky. Bang! Bryant dunks it home. Slotting that thing in the bottom right-hand corner. it's going to be up to UW Milwaukee to find a response with less than 60 seconds left to play. That's going to be a wide open field. Is that just in? Yes, it is. Hey, yo, my bad. Kind of feel like that one's on me. Sometimes the casters curse be cursing, you know what I mean? Agreed, though, Pink. You do have time. 41 seconds on the clock, and of course, with the score tied up at 2, either team finds a way to hit the lace. We will be off to overtime. Timmy fields it over 1. Demo leaves the ball off the post. Bryant bangs it home off of the rebound. It's the hat trick. 34 seconds left to play. I think Bladat thought they had a little bit more space than that. JD going to be able to send Timmy back to the bench. Double Demo. Luckily, Bryant gets enough of it to be able to at least delay a push towards the net. Bryant low 50. JDE, though, picks the pocket. Only has Pink to beat. Bryant sends it towards the corner. Hugh and Pink have a 50. One by Pink sends it deep inside that UW Milwaukee half. One last chance. JDE can't find it. Ball just sitting there lying on the grass. And game number 1 does indeed go to your Edgewood Eagles. Doing a great job of being able to wind up the offense, able to find 8 shots. The thing that is slightly concerning looking at the stat sheet is the fact that we did see UW Milwaukee Black was able to put 10 shots up onto the board. Of course, they were only able to find the lace twice as opposed to 3 times by the Eagles. So when you talk about the ability to say, hey, we got the dub, hey, you know what? Check that box. We kind of talked about how important game number was. Game number 1 was for the Eagles. That's a dub Ruski. You're able to go back to back like that great Drake track in, on that 2013, 15, whenever it was. A long time ago at this point. But you win 2 games here, and all of a sudden, you're the team that's on series point. They've got multiple bites at the cherry. Of course, we do know all too well, scores from the previous game no longer matter. It's about trying to find that first goal. See if they can do it first. Maybe even in this first possession, potentially. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case, but their defense is in position to prevent an easy counterattack. Pink over 1. Over 2. JDE's the only one there. Does rise up and sends it over towards the corner. Ball's going to be in a dangerous position. Oh, Bryant sends it off the top bar. Timmy going to be able to field it off the rebound from there, as neither defender that was in front of the net quite able to get the handle on it. Timmy, once those 2 swing and miss, it's a wide open net. You just got to simply tap it in. There it is. Looking to try and see if they can extend their lead here in game number 2. Done a good job of being able to control the pressure here early. Right now, UW Milwaukee still yet to record their first shot. Ugh. Follow up, that one hits the post as well. I feel like I was going to say you get another shot or two on target. At what point do they run out of gas? They will be able to find the relief valve, find the clear, but quickly on the counterattack to the counterattack. Here is the Edgewood Eagles. Ball does get slowed down. JD's going to fire a shot on the target. Let's go just a tad bit wide. Bryant, awkward position, but is able to keep the control. Talk about an opportune spawn. JDE, we saw you. We caught you red-handed. Can't respect the rule 1. Chamonix, someone to clip that for me, please. Appreciate you. save from Timmy here. JD's the only one to beat. JD will be able to rise on up. Woo! Dangerous touch from Timmy, but it does find the post. It's still a 1-goal lead for now. Q rising on up. Timmy's going to be able to follow that up and send it right back over into that orange territory. Touch from Timmy. Is that over Q's head? That's over Q's head. For my Hoops fans out there, I believe that's a ball don't lie situation when it comes to the break of the Rule 1. As Edgewood now going to be up by 2. Looking to maybe even add a third here. Bryant had such a beautiful shot. Pink almost follows it up with a nice little bicycle. Ball's up in the sky. Bryant, one touch. Can you find another? You've got a whole gas tank to work with. Ball's back into the lap of Timmy. Timmy's over Q. Past JDE at 2. Yes, indeed, but that means Bladat out of position. Can anyone follow it up? Yes, indeed-o. It's Bryant. Rises to the challenge, and it's 3-0. $100 seconds left to go here in game number 2. UW Milwaukee Black still held scoreless. Right now, they're in a similar situation that we had seen the Eagles in that first series. You just want to get something to build on going into a potential final game of the series. It's going to be up to the Eagles to just keep the pedal down. The foot on the proverbial throat, you might even say. But you know what? How about this play? Pink, who I mentioned earlier, had such a phenomenal weekend in the CRL Open, gathers this thing and says, I believe I can fly. Able to dump that thing on home, and it's 4-0. Almost looked like the original Space Jam out here with their stretchy arm. Picks that thing up and says, I'm dunking this thing no matter what. And with a 4-goal lead here, it feels like this final minute is really just trying to take that last little bit of hope out of UW Milwaukee, especially if you can find another goal here. Bladat will be able to find the clear. Pink is cat off that back wall, however. Full tank of gas. Not going to be able to get over the double commit, however. With that double commit, though, it is harder for them to be able to retain that possession. Make a play towards the net. Matter of fact, all possession has been relatively quick. Down the other way we go. Bryant launches up a pass. And while it looked like maybe for a second there, we're going to see UW Milwaukee Black be able to find a goal right there at the end. Still, the defense holds the line. 14 shots for the Edgewood Eagles here, as opposed to the lone 4 over on the side of UW Milwaukee Black. So, I mean, when you hear that high discrepancy, you can kind of envision how the game went. If you watched game number 2, that's exactly how it went. So one more dub. And at least for the squad here from Edgewood, you can wind down the day and say, hey, you know what? We came in, we looked decent. I would say better than decent against Concord. Yeah, you weren't able to pick up a dub, but 2 1-goal games. I think 2 2-goal games. And then you come in here into the Wisconsin CRL matchup and have been able to absolutely strut your stuff. Really flex your muscles. So let's see if they can do that one more time here in game number 3. see them be able to strike first. You do have a lot of pressure forward. Timmy maybe overcommits just a little bit. Luckily should be able to get back and scoops it up, but now it's more resources being used just to simply find a way away from the net. Of course, we have seen Edgewood do a great job of being able to control the boost all game long, and because of that, they're able to have fast transitional plays like we just saw. Almost not going to find its spot. Tries to go for the Psycho. Can't quite find it, but that shows you the confidence that this team is playing with for now. First minute gone by in game number 3. Still tied up at 0. Only 3 shots thus far, one of which has come from our Edgewood Eagles. Timmy's going to launch one there. Puts it literally between the 3 defenders. And that's going to give Edgewood the lead here in game number 3. For kickoff here, Bryant will be able to field it, however. Maybe a false sense of security got the defense too far forward. Over on the side of UW Milwaukee, Timmy almost finds the double tap. That would have been nasty had it connected. Ball's up in the sky. Timmy, though, loses the 50. Numbers going the other way. JDE, I thought was going to find the pass, but what a touch. It's a pass over towards the sidewall. Counter-attack opportunity from Pink, but Bladat going to be able to find the save. Here's Timmy rising up, looks for the double touch. Oh no, dangerous position to be in. Bryant should be able to send that off the backboard. Follow up, however, from Q. Gonna get slotted across the goal line. Just before we meet that midway point here in game number 3, UW Milwaukee tied things up. Of course, if you're Edgewood, you do know that you've got a couple of chances at this, so I don't think you're going to be too concerned about it being tied right now. Plus, I feel like we haven't really seen the back-to-back goal scenarios that we've seen. I think we've seen in both those first 2 games. You wonder if we're on the verge of it at some point. And there it is, Rule 1 going to be respected. We got ourselves a 2v2 temporarily. I guess learning from their mistakes last time around. There's Timmy, gathers, second touch, looks to send it over back towards the sidewall, but Bladat plays it perfect, pushes the issue, steps right on into the lane. Bryant's on the backboard already though, so that shot that gets launched on target, quickly fielded here from Edgewood. What a save from Timmy. Bladat, slight touch, however, that's going to be towards net. Q should be able to find the save and does just that. Sends it over towards the corner. Rule 1 still engaged over on the other side of the field. Definitely understand why UW Milwaukee would want to respect it after seeing the karma pay its way back around. Last time around, the Rule 1 was broken. Hold on. Oh, Bryant tried to pop it up over Bladat, or I think actually was expecting Bladat to jump and try to low 50 it. The play was red. Oh, QX is a keeper to their own teammate's shot. Unfortunate puppies. 36 seconds as that goes off of the top bar from Bladat. Bladat also took off the big pad. However, a bump onto Q gives Bryant all sorts of space to field this thing up in the sky. And Bladat finds the save at the very last moment. Timmy keeps the pressure forward. 15 seconds left on the clock. Now down to 12. Remember, we've had our rule zero engaged for about 2 minutes here. Can Bryant end it with a 0-second goal? Balls in the sky. Timmy leaves it up. Bryant to touch. Timmy, bang! Who needs an overtime when you can make things exciting once the game is over? I'm Pele. 2-1 in game number 3. And wow, that was insane. Kind of mentioned it, we saw a very hard fought matchup in our ECAC matchup against Concord, but the redemption story in our Wisconsin CRL matchup, there's a reason this Edgewood Eagles squad is ranked number 1 in Wisconsin. And honestly, man, you can't really blame them for that first matchup on the day either. Again, remember, 2 1-goal games, 2 2-goal games. One of them was like a last second goal. So really that was, you can count that as a 1-goal game as well. So, I was kind of talking with coach a little bit before we went live. I think from what I saw over the weekend and even today in that Concord matchup, I think the squad right there, if you're able to fine tune just a couple things, smooth the edges, the whole dot the I's, cross the T's, that sort of thing. I think this Edgewood Eagles team could very well be beating teams like Concord in no time. So we do still have plenty more of spring action to go, whether it's Rocket League or other esports titles over here on the Edgewood Twitch channel. So if it's your first time through and you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that follow button down below, turn those notifications on. But that is going to do it for us here for the evening. We've got Overwatch tomorrow. Hope to catch you guys back for that one. But until we do catch y'all back, whenever that happens to be, man, do me a favor. Make sure you don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere. Game hard and love hard. All right, y'all. It's your boy Q, signing out.